It seems like the new standard, like the new resolution that all the games are going to be in is at least 1440p from now on. It seems like, at the very least. Hey, 1440p, 60 FPS maybe.
Yeah, something
That'll be
like
the new
that.
standard for a while. Because
Something like
obviously,
that.
because you can do 4K, but 4K is going to be around like 30 FPS maybe. I can't see it being at 60 FPS on a consistent
Yeah,
basis.
even the 2080 Ti has trouble with doing 4K highest setting 60
Yeah,
on a
it's
lot of
hard.
titles.
Yeah,
Like,
it's very hard.
I don't think people just grasp how demanding that is.
It's very demanding. Like even the PS4 Pro isn't really a native 4K.
Yeah,
Even things like that.
God damn it. More often than not, it's a 1440p machine.
Yeah,
And the Xbox has something between 1440p and 4K usually, because I mean, with those Jaguar processors, you're kind of limited.
yeah, true. There's only so much you can do.
It is what it is. But then they showed off, but they say Insomniac said that's the new Spider-Man Miles Morales is going to be a standalone title. He didn't expand on that. It might be like a standalone expansion for all we know. Sony said it is going to be packaged with a remaster of Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4. Both of these lead me to think that maybe it's not a full-on experience. That, and they are working on a full-on brand new Ratchet and Clank, which they also showed off, called A Rift Apart, and it looks awesome. I am
Yeah,
so
yeah.
excited for this one.
That was one of the only games they actually showed like actual gameplay for, and that looked really good too.
Yeah, I first off, I love this series. Like, Ratchet and Clank is fucking phenomenal. It's just a really, really good platformer series. I like it a hell of a lot.
It's been long overdue for a game in the series too.
Yeah, there's only one this generation. It was a remake of the first one, so we're overdue for a new one.
Yeah. And
And
judging
we're
by the gameplay, it looks pretty good too.
Yeah, it looks like they're really playing with this idea of a rift in space time and integrating that
Yeah.
into the gameplay, and it looks really cool because they're like pulling levels together and creating new ways to get across and shit like that, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the 5 games that looked interesting to me throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, that one looks awesome. Jesus, you guys.
Because the whole event was made up of there's a lot of new IPs, and some of the new IPs are interesting. Some definitely weren't. I would say that much. But
Yeah, I know which one you're gonna bring up.
oh, oh yeah, there's one big standout one that just is so out of place. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But, but
Okay, so let's get the rest of the good stuff out of the way before we talk about that one. So they showed
yeah,
off. you're interested in this one. I've never been interested in Demon Souls, but and the Soulsborne stuff. But they showed off a remake of Demon Souls from Blue Point Games. If you don't
Yeah,
know who Blue Point Games is, they did the PlayStation 4 version of Shadow of the Colossus, and before that, they did excellent remasters of a bunch of different games. Like, if you look up the list of games they've remastered, all of them are some of the highest quality remasters that we've gotten.
yeah,
And they're
pretty good
doing,
track record.
yeah, and they're doing for Demon Souls what they did for Shadow of the Colossus on the PlayStation 4,
Yeah,
and it's gorgeous.
yeah, it looks really good. I'm really excited, honestly. I'm definitely getting a PS5 like for that and a couple other games. That's definitely like a I'm definitely gonna get it just for that. It's like sort of game.
Then they showed off. They showed off a trailer for Resident Evil 5, which looks awesome. Or not 5, 8. We're up
Yeah,
to
8. Yeah, it's called Resident Evil Village. Like Capcom is really trying to drop the whole number scheme. Like they're really trying to push the whole like subtitle like element of the games now. Like they're really trying to get rid of the whole numbers. But like I mean like the new game looks really good. Honestly, I mean I'm actually really excited for this new direction they're going for because it's
Yeah,
very different from what they've done in the past. Kind of divisive. I mean like it's actually like really divisive. I should say
yeah.
for fans.
Werewolves.
Werewolves, vampires, and all that jazz. Like really, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I heard it's going to be a more action-packed game compared to even like RE7. So I mean, a lot of fans are going to be kind of divided. A lot of fans just don't like the fact that it's first person in general.
Yeah,
So
horror works in first person very well. So please shut up and stop whining.
they just their whole argument, like a lot of the fans just don't like it because like Resident Evil isn't supposed to be first person. Like Resident Evil's got to be third person, and fixed cameras and zombies and viruses and
Resident Evil cannot
biolabs.
change at all, and it needs to go back to what it was doing way back on the Dreamcast.
It has to, yeah. The series has to remain stagnant for all eternity. Like to some fans, anyway. I shouldn't say all fans. Definitely not all fans, but like there's like some hardcore fans that really just are like hardcore loyal to the whole fixed camera third person, zombies and viruses and mansions and cities, and it has to stay the same for like forevermore. Like I'm all
No.
about change and variety in the series, which
Yeah, if you reinvent yourself and it's good, I have no problem with that. You know?
yeah. Like even like RE7 was a big departure. Now I mean RE7 feels like a Resident Evil game. It's first person. Who gives a shit honestly? But it feels like a Resident Evil game. It has puzzles. It has like the whole pacing, the vibes. Just feels like a classic survival horror game. And
Oh,
like RE8 it's gonna be more action focused, but it's still gonna be like focused on horror. And like, RE8 kind of seems like it's gonna be like more aligned to like RE4 even. Just like the whole village setting and more action focus and like there's like a like a developer video, like some of the producers were talking about the game and they showed off like the HUD for the inventory system and they showed off like in the top corner there was like a currency system, so it kind of gave the impression that it's going to be kind of like RE4 with like currency and you can get upgrades and stuff, so it's definitely going to be more action focused. So just have to see how that turns out. But I mean, overall, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good game overall.
yeah.
Capcom's track record kind of proves that.
The one thing that, and they have plenty of time to iron this out, but the one thing that I didn't like about that trailer was it was choppy, dude. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
that, the frame rate, but it was choppy.
Yeah, especially with like there's like the whole scene with like when you're in like that house in the village and there's a guy and it was like below like 30 FPS. It was like a 25 FPS or something like that. Like talking to the dude in that village house or whatever. He's getting attacked by the werewolf. Obviously, like I think like when the game comes out, it's not gonna be like that. But like, I guess it's running on base hardware, and maybe it will run like that on base hardware. But hopefully they optimize that like when it comes out. But there's definitely certain parts of that where like the frame rate's really choppy and goes below 30 FPS. Because obviously the resolution's like a lot higher than 1080p.
Yeah. Um, they have plenty of time to iron that out, but that is the only thing that I was concerned about. Other than that, I think it looks good. And Chris looks like Chris again.
Yeah, he looks he looks a shit ton. He looks a lot better than what he did in RE7. He looks so awful in RE7. He had no chin. He looked really generic. He just looked awful. That was one of the bad things about RE7 was his redesign. They definitely like went back to like he kind of looks like how he did in the third CGI movie, Resident Evil Vendetta. He kind of looks like that, like mixed with RE5's Chris. So they kind of like they brought him back to how he should look in his like current age and everything. Because
But
he's
will
like,
he punch boulders?
yeah, that's a big question. I mean, hopefully he does. That's his nature at this point. I mean, he has to punch boulders.
I remember seeing a Photoshop screenshot. That was the original Pokemon. It did these things where it would put things in your way that you'd have to use Pokemon's specific abilities to get past it.
Yeah.
And there was one where you were traveling through a. God damn it. Fuck. Um, but you were traveling through like a tunnel and like a cave system, and there's this big boulder in the way, and someone had edited the text to say, "I wish Chris Redfield was here to punch the shit out of it."
Yeah, for real. He's the only one qualified for the job.
See, what else did they show? They showed some kind of weird space-looking game with this little kid sitting next to this projection of a cat that looked very strange.
Oh, that was one of the first the new IPs. I think it was called like Stray or something.
Yeah, well, no, there was one called Stray where you played as a cat
Oh,
running through a city that was entirely made up of robots.
Yeah, that actually looked kind of interesting to me. Like I'm curious what the actual like game is going to be. But I can't remember what the one you're talking about is.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm trying to remember what it is. Yeah, was that? I think it was the one that's supposed to be from Dead Space developers.
Oh, Visceral Entertainment or whatever the studio is called.
Yeah, the studio made up of people that used to work at EA before EA shut down the Dead Space developers.
Yeah, I can't remember what that was called. There's a couple like newer games I can't remember from that announcement.
Then they closed off with a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, which also looks awesome.
Yeah.
And Horizon was cool. I like Horizon a lot. It's a very, very good game. There was another game that where you had like druid powers, where she was you played as some woman who had like a staff that she could use like as like a magical bow, and she had druid powers where she was making plants and trees and shit grow.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of games I can't remember from that.
Yeah.
But you know what it was?
I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was a new IP.
You know, what does that tell you about these these new IPs? I can't even remember what they were.
Well, I only saw it once, so
Yeah.
forgive me, you know?
Because there was actually a couple that stood out. Like there was another game At first, I thought it was like a new survival horror IP. There was like this woman who's trapped on some planet, and it kind of reminded me of that movie,
Oh yeah,
Edge of Tomorrow.
where she relived her crashing and getting attacked and dying.
Yeah,
over and
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Was it just
I remember
me,
that.
or did the woman in that trailer sound a hell of a lot like Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah, like she sounded really familiar. And that could be it, honestly. I couldn't put my finger on it, but that sounds really like it sounds like it could be her, honestly. It's really distinctive. I mean, I remember that stood out. Like that and Stray, which we already talked about, Cat Game. And there was a couple other IPs I didn't really give a shit about. Honestly, there was like a couple that looked like really indie. Obviously, there was one that really stood out. I don't know if we want to get into that now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to get into that now?
The good, yeah. You mean the whole the Tumblr game? I guess you can say.
Yeah, Tumblr, teen angst, whatever.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know what the game's supposed to be. I guess it's like a visual. I guess the game itself is going to be kind of like a visual novel or like a 2D type of game.
It
But it's like
reminded me of Life is Strange, and that was
Yeah.
already compared to that was already being called Tumblr the video game.
Yeah, and this is like Uber Tumblr the video game.
Yeah, with
It's
furries.
like, it's like yeah, furries with like dinosaurs and stuff. I guess I don't know. Yeah, like the game's like Goodbye Volcano High, and
Yeah, it's called
I
Goodbye
guess-
Volcano High.
I guess
And I'm sure it has an audience. I am not it.
yeah, like, a lot of people aren't, honestly, because if you look at the dislikes on that video, holy crap! Like a lot of people don't like this game. Even a lot of liberals don't like this game, even because of the creators involved with it. They wrote the article about the whole Pokemon porn thing on Kotaku, where they showed underage porn, like
Yeah,
anime bullshit.
the creator, the writer. God damn it! I'm getting my ass kicked.
I getting killed.
The writer of this game is a woman named Katie Gray. And last year, you may remember that Kotaku came under fire because they posted an article saying there was something like video game porn could be more exciting or interesting or less gross or something like it. It's porn. Why do you want?
It showed,
Do
yeah.
you care how gross it is? It's porn. It's not gonna be squeaky clean. It's porn.
It's
but-
pornographic, yeah.
But that had images in it of various video game porn, and one of them had Misty,
Misty,
Pokemon.
yeah, that was a big thing.
who is 14 years old. And people
Yeah, I
were
never actually knew her age. That's actually news to me.
yeah, people tore Kotaku to shreds last year over this.
I still
And
remember that too.
the person that wrote Goodbye Volcano High.
She was like, yeah, she's one of the writers of Rocky. She's
She
one of the
wrote
ones.
this article.
Yeah, the article. Yeah, she wrote the article, and she's one of the writers, the head writers of the game. And a lot
So
of liberals aren't pretty pleased about that.
even the people that this game is aimed at are pissed off at this game
Yeah,
as soon as they found that out.
this is it's definitely the outlier. This is probably one of the most disliked games of the reveal. Like not only for that reason, but it just looks like something that shouldn't be revealed in like this next
Yeah.
generation console.
Yeah, it looks like an indie version, cartoonized version of Life is Strange with
It looks
tons
like,
of
yeah.
teen angst, ungodly
teen
amounts
angst,
of
yeah.
teen angst,
It's
and
very teen angsty.
I can only handle so much teen angst before it starts just grating my nerves. So I could tell right away this is not for me. This game's going to drive me up the wall.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. A lot of people don't. Yeah, like there's definitely an audience. I mean, I think the thing is this game could have came out on the PS3 and it would have been the same game. Like a lot of people don't want to see games like this at a big new next generation reveal event. Like they want to see the games that really push the boundaries of consoles, and this game definitely is not that at all. It's a 2D like cartoony game. Like nobody wants to see that in general.
Yeah, strange.